It was graduation weekend, confetti Polaroids, a future opening like a summer road. By dawn, a quiet house in Springfield held the most enduring riddle the city had ever known. 3 women, 1 tidy living room, purses lined up, cars in the driveway, a broken porch globe and a voicemail later erased. The front door was unlocked, the beds were slept in, and the people were gone. No ransom note, no goodbye. No sound a neighbor could swear to. Just absence so clean, it felt surgical. It wasn't a runaway, it wasn't a burglary gone loud. It was something else. Something that could move through a small house between midnight and morning and leave behind only questions. This is the story of the Springfield Three. How 3 lives converged in a single address and then stepped into thin air. Sherrill Levitt, 47, hairdresser and mother, a meticulous salon professional, independent, protective and house-proud, the anchor of 1717 East Delmar. Suzanne Suzie Streeter, 19, recent high school graduate, artistic, witty, impulsive, but loyal, fresh diploma in hand, planning her next move. Stacy McCall, 18, recent high school graduate, organized, sweet-natured, the planner in friend groups. Careful about checking in with parents. Marcus Evans, composite. Lead investigator, represents the task force effort. Canvases, warrants, tips, timelines, polygraphs, cadaver dogs. Janice McCall, 40s, Stacy's mother, tenacious and composed under pressure. Turns grief into action, organizes flyers, pressers. Robert Cox, person of interest, 25. A name that will recur. Cool, confident, with a past that made detectives lean in. Springfield, Missouri, summer of 1992, a college town with church bells and Friday night diners, where bad news usually traveled as rumor first. Graduation weekend swelled the city with halting goodbyes and early jobs. For Suzie Streeter and Stacy McCall, it was their night. Caps tossed, photos snapped, parties hopping between classmates' houses. At 1717 East Delmar, Suzie's mother, Sherrill Levitt, kept a neat home. Towels folded just so, a new forearm lamp for reading, a front porch light that sometimes flickered when the globe loosened. She worked long days as a hairdresser, built a life where predictability was protection. Suzie and Stacy planned to crash at a friend's, Janelle's, after parties. But like most graduation nights, plans melted and reformed. Crowds doubled, couch space disappeared, clocks slid past 2 a.m. The easiest answer, the one that felt safe, was, let's just go to Suzie's. It was close. It was quiet. It was fine. June 6th to June 7th, 1992. After midnight, the girls move house to house, hellos, hugs, disposable cameras clicking. By the time they decide to leave for Suzie's place, they're tired. They'll sleep in, meet friends late morning, and hit a water park by afternoon. They tell parents versions of the plan. These are predictable kids. They check in. At East Delmar, Sherrill is likely already asleep, a book half closed on the nightstand. The neighborhood is residential hush. Sprinklers, cycling, an occasional car, the soft thud of a newspaper landing on a lawn somewhere. Somewhere between 2:15 a.m. and 2:30 a.m., Suzie's red Ford Escort and Stacy's Toyota Corolla end up parked in the driveway. The front porch globe will be found broken, the glass fragments not yet swept. A sign that someone, careless or hurried, bumped it. Maybe a door swung wide, maybe a shoulder clipped it in the dark, maybe something fell. The next morning, when Janice McCall tries to reach Stacy, the calls ring unanswered. It's a "that's odd" that grows into a "that's not like her." By noon, concern is alarm. Janice begins calling friends, then decides to drive over. 1717. East Delmar looks normal. 2 cars in the drive, no forced entry. Inside, purses lined up, money still inside, cigarettes untouched. Nothing to suggest anyone planned to leave. Makeup on the counter. Shorts and t-shirts flung as if quickly changed for bed. There's a voicemail blinking on the answering machine. Someone erases it by accident later, amid the chaos, a detail that will haunt the case. The small dog is agitated. Beds look slept in, covers tossed back. The glass from the porch globe is swept and thrown in the kitchen trash by well-meaning friends before police ever see the original scatter. Innocence rearranges a crime scene without knowing. No blood, no note, no women. A house that says they planned to be here, and a silence that says they were taken from here. Detective Marcus Evans has worked his share of domestics and runaways. This doesn't fit. 3 adults don't evaporate with purses left behind. The initial perimeter is small, then it widens. Neighbors canvassed, trash collected, phones subpoenaed. Dogs sweep nearby lots. Patrol units ping hospitals and jails. Nothing. By late day, the house is full of people, family, friends, officers, then more friends. The answering machine becomes a tragic totem, erased message, what it could have said, who it might have been from. Detectives work the party list, who saw them last, who had a problem with any of them. Exes are checked, co-workers interviewed, salon clients of Sherrill gently asked if anyone had been following her home. A few tips surface about a green van seen in odd places near the house in previous days. Eyewitness memory is muddy at best. The green van becomes more of a myth than a lead, but it lingers. A neighbor reports a scream around 2:30 a.m. Another reports nothing at all. Night can do that, turns certainty into a chorus of contradictions. By the evening news, Springfield knows the names. Flyers multiply. Janice McCall becomes the kind of mother the camera trusts, firm, clear, asking the public for anything. The community shows up. Hundreds of volunteers comb fields and creeks. They will keep doing so for decades. The first 48 hours close with a feeling every detective dreads. We missed the window. Detective Evans maps the last knowns, party, house, arrival, erasure. He plots the purse lineup, car positioning, the broken globe, the swept glass. What do they say together? They say, no sign of struggle, or whoever did this controlled the scene in seconds. Search teams move to lakes, quarries, abandoned properties. Cadaver dogs alert in a few places that yield nothing concrete. The landfill option, a heart sink, gets discussed, then tabled for lack of a tight window. The green van sighting multiplies. This block, that store, an alley. Investigators know how contagious a detail can be once it's on the news. Leads are sorted. Van tips into one stack, solid, time-stamped sightings into another. None stick. A name creeps forward, Robert Craig Cox. He has history, the kind that makes detectives want longer interviews. Cox had lived in Springfield around the time of the disappearances, had a violent past, and exuded a calm that read as either confidence or contempt for the questions. In later years, he would hint to reporters he knew the women were dead, yet offer no body, no location, no evidence that could be tested. He is looked at hard, alibis vetted, associates questioned, nothing reaches probable cause. He doesn't become the guy. He becomes the orbit, the gravitational pull investigators check and recheck when the file is reopened. Detectives lay out scenario boards. Known offender, targeted abduction, fast control at the door, driveway, one gun or one command, 3 compliant victims to avoid harm to each other. Random opportunist, slim odds but not impossible, late arrival. Open drive, a stalker sees chance. Burglary interrupted. Evidence doesn't sing this tune, nothing big is missing, and who makes 3 people vanish cleanly? Professional, tidy scene fits, but motive. No obvious debts, no drug ties, no affair. Brewing the kind of rage that hires help. Every theory stubs its toe on the same stone. Where are they? What was left? The dog, the purses, the keys, the cars. Front light broken, message erased. The bedrooms with small signs of wind down. Jewelry set aside, a shirt tossed, makeup left open. What if the porch is scene 1? A knock, a familiar. Voice or a badge flashed. "Hey, quick word." The globe breaks. The door opens to calm the dog. Inside minutes, compliance through fear. No gunfire, no neighbor roused. Then transport, one vehicle or more. The women are walked out or marched. Fast, efficient. Years grow rings of tips. Concrete is dug where someone swears they felt a bad vibe in '92. Wells are checked. A bar's basement gets scanned. Decades later, ground-penetrating radar will produce anomalies under a hospital parking structure that exists now where empty ground once did. But access and excavation become tangled in logistics and permission. No confirmed recovery. The E2 case draws psychics, wasted hours, self-proclaimed experts, more noise, and jailhouse informants with stories that collapse on contact with a calendar. Janice McCall becomes a movement. Billboards, reward funds, annual vigil. Sherrill's extended family keeps the house in memory. Suzie's friends grow up and out, but not away from June 7th. The faces on the flyers age only through design software. In Springfield, parents start locking doors that once only clicked shut. Teenagers text "home safe" after nights out. Police rethink how to secure a residence flooded by friends and family in the first frantic hours. Evidence handling talks. Get a new slide titled "Well-Meaning People Can Destroy Your Case." The familiar knock theory. Someone known, or convincingly official, arrives within 30 minutes of the girls' parking. A pretext, noise complaint, quick question. Your tail light is out. The broken globe is the stuttering witness. The two-person theory. Control 3 adults swiftly at night without noise. Easier with 2 offenders, one to watch, one to move. The transport gap. No car missing. So either offenders arrived with their own ride or had a stash vehicle nearby. The quiet house trap. The women made themselves safe by going where they felt safe, and someone counted on that. Over the years, the case attracts hoaxes, anonymous letters, "I know where," calls that end in nothing. Each one picks at the same scab. What if this is the one? The detectives learn to guard their hope. The families too. No body, no physical evidence that points to a person rather than a possibility. Technology helps. DNA gets better, databases expand, but only if there's something to test. The Springfield Three didn't leave a hairbrush on the killer's sleeve. They left a house that said they lived there and a silence that said someone else did the leaving. Unofficial. Ask the detectives off camera, and many will say the same thing in different words. This was quick, controlled, likely someone with either confidence or cover, maybe both. If we find them, we'll find them together. Springfield keeps living the way cities do, layering new summers over old ones. But June 7th, 1992 doesn't go away. It's on a wall at the police department. It's in flyers tucked in yearbooks. It's the reason a mother calls twice when a teenager is 10 minutes late. The porch light at 1717 East Delmar is long since replaced. But in the minds of those who knew the women, it still flickers. A broken globe, a small sound in the night, and then a hush that lasted decades. Someone knows how 3 women left a quiet house before sunrise and were never seen again. Memory is a crime scene too. Details get boxed away, then mislabeled as not important. If you were in Springfield that night, if you remember a van, a knock, a story that never made sense, come forward. Time has a way of turning secrets brittle. If you have information about the Springfield Three, contact the Springfield Police Department's tip line. Cases like this don't solve themselves. People do.